FM.
Radyo, 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 katipunan, radyo, katipunan, radyo, katipunan, radyo, 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 katipunan, radyo, katipunan. Voice of the Eagle kami, di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atin sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng pera. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, katipunero sugo. Todo sa kayod, tunong at tulong. Lipad na Blue Eagle, galing giting at tigil.
Radyo-katipunan, and we are also transmitting via the 87.9 FM frequency. So tune in if you are within the 2-kilometer radius of the Ateneo de Manila campus. So hi guys! So just a short recap. We ended April with a very meaningful conversation with our two, educational organizations. We had Ateneo Psych and Ateneo Special Education Society. And, we got to have a sneak peek on what their coming initiatives are in line with their advocacy. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And success of several organizations are all thanks to its members, and it's really cool that we have that established. How we really invest in HR now, especially with the pandemic and all, and everybody in the online setting. We really appreciate that. And with that, we also appreciate their leaders, of course, who continuously push their members to, of course, do their best, to always put their heart in the org, and to, of course, pursue the best advocacies as change makers that they can be. And you know what? Speaking of leaders, guys, COA-M is actually recognizing these leaders in this year's COA-M Awards. I'm pretty sure you guys saw it floating around your Facebook feed, like the, COA-M Awards. It was really hyped. It was really cool. Everybody was in it. Super nice. And, with the COA-M Awards, we also had the most outstanding leader, which will be hailed as a 2021 Leader of the Year. Crazy. Tapos na pala ang school year. Like, patapos na tayo. Super. It's like overwhelming to think that, wow, we've actually gone so far. And with this, I'm actually glad to share with everyone today, who we are with our guests. Exciting. So we are joined actually by our 2021 Leader of the Year nominees. Okay. So without further ado, why don't we call them on here right now? We have Julia Quizon, we have Nicole Chua, we have JT Valiente, Nina San Andres. Oh, sorry, Nina. Nina's here with us. But like JT Valiente course, we have Jubert, Calamba, Marian Limos, and Jordan Jacinto. We also have Miss Tisha Agbayani. Hi, guys. It's a crazy, great honor to be joined by such amazing and phenomenal leaders who actually managed to pull off 1 year in the online setting in their orgs. It's crazy. So, why don't you guys introduce yourselves so everybody can, get to know y'all better? Who wants to go first?
Hello, I can go first. Hi, I'm Julia. I'm the president of the Ateneo Association of Communication Majors, or ACOM. So thank you for inviting all of us here today.
Hi, Julia. Okay, it's crazy. Hi, ma'am. Actually, Julia is my boss. I'm her alipin. I'm actually in ACOM. I think thanks for joining us, Julia. Super kilig ako. Ano how about you, Miss Nicole, Chua?
Oh, hello. I'm Nicole, and I'm the company manager of Tanghalang Ateneo. Super excited to be here today again.
Ooh, crazy. We have a roster of amazing talents rin pala. Grabe, TA, legendary. Loved your prods. It's, Ateneo has grown this really great reputation for forming really good theatrical plays online. Super na pull off nyo. Congrats to that. And with that, let's move on to JT. Hi, JT.
Hello, hi everybody. I'm JT, the president of the Ateneo Economics Association. It's so great to be back here on Radio-Katipunan. I'm very honored to be standing and online with all of these amazing talents, some of whom I've gotten to know over the years. So very, very honored.
Hi. Oh, it's so sweet. Grabe the message. Crazy. Yeah, actually, I feel like I worked with Ateneo Economics.
You did, yeah,
once.
you did.
Yeah, I think
our project was called Donut Economics.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got
It's very
tapped
great.
to
You
host
hosted
that.
really well. You hosted really
Ah.
well. So
Thank you. Ako lang to, guys. Joke lang. Okay, the audacity. Okay, thank you so much, JT. Moving on. Hi, Jordan.
So hi everybody, I'm Jordan, the coordinating head for the Ateneo Consultants for Organization Development and Empowerment, so otherly known as Ateneo Code. So thank you for this opportunity, and it's a pleasure to be here with fellow Ateneo leaders. So yeah, thank you.
Your code, legendary. I've heard so many good things about your org, and actually, I'm considering to join next year. It's crazy. I hope I get in though. The application's so
Go for
hard
it,
now.
go for it.
Okay, that's crazy. Thank you. Next, we have Miss Marian.
Hi, I'm Kristinne, and I'm the president of Ateneo Psyche. I'm so honored to be here amongst all the nominated org leaders for this year, and I'm also excited to be on the show. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Wow, back to back. You guys were the guests last episode, Ren. Yes, Ateneo Psyche. Keep on going for it. We love that.
Thank you.
Okay, and Miss Tisha Agbayani.
Hi everyone, I'm Tisha, the current president of the company of Ateneo Dancers. And yeah, I guess thank you for this opportunity, and I'm super excited to hear from everyone.
Again, we are joined by performers talaga. It's crazy. Dude, honestly, I loved your project. I loved your video. Super cool, how you guys managed to still keep on releasing new stuff, especially with the online setting. People think na, oh, it's impossible to keep on dancing, to keep on pursuing theatrical plays in the online setting. But look at you guys. You guys pulled it off. No comment. Ang galing talaga. And with that, last but of course not the least, Mr. Jubert Calamba.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jubert. I'm the current president of Ateneo Gabay. It's actually my first time here in Radio-Katipunan, so thank you for inviting me.
Okay, it's your first, but look, first pa lang already making an impact. Hello, first invitation mo to this show, and you're already a nominated leader of the year. Dude, that's a flex. It's crazy. And that I am super happy to be joined by all of you right now. And it's a really great honor. And I'm sure all of us here listening right now will learn a lot of things from you guys, especially about leadership. So, to start off the conversation, I'd like to ask you guys first, how you guys have been? How are you guys doing lately? Have you been able to get some rest in between all the things you're working on? Just it doesn't have to be long. Just share, maybe at the 2 sentences how things have been going for you. Why don't we go with the natural flow that we did kanina? So Julia, you want to start us off?
Hello. I'm excited to be sort of entering the next season of my life, but I'm also sad that I'm about to leave like the Ateneo life as well. So yeah, I've just been trying to cherish it. Pero nasad ako kasi wala na tayong grad shoot. Wala na tayong togo pick or something like that. So yon. But other than that, I've been doing really well now. Thank you for asking.
It's a pleasure. Miss Nicole?
Same with Julia. I'm trying to kind of process it that after 4 years, I won't be doing my org stuff anymore. And kasi nung on-site, org stuff is like from 8 a.m. hanggang even at night, like may mga ganap na nangyayari. And to not have that in my life is kind of crazy. Adulting, it's pretty hard. So ayun, same. Just trying to process and appreciate everything while I still can.
Okay. Well, I would love to see na. It's okay. There's so much more time left, but wala na kasing time. So yeah, go do it. Go for it. Go for it. Okay. And JT?
Yeah, I've been good too. It's been crazy. This whole year has just been totally crazy, but I think throughout the year we've all been able to develop our own coping mechanisms to deal with the anxieties brought about by the pandemic and of course the academic pressure on top of our org work. So I think at this time we've already sort of found that balance. But like what everybody else is saying, it's also bittersweet that we'll be graduating soon and leaving all of our org work behind. But at the same time, I'm comfortable knowing that the people who are going to be taking on, the helm of the org after me are just going to be amazing at it as well. So that's what I'm looking forward to also.
Okay. Wow. Nakaka-heartwarm. I'm pretty sure all of the orgs that you've handled are in good hands next year because you guys are really amazing leaders. No cap. Like you can really say that's a good leader when they train better leaders than them. So pretty sure you guys got that in the bag. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I think it's really just a matter of trying to manage, I guess, closing out my Ateneo journey. So I think it's similar naman to the other graduating leaders here. So yeah, trying to finish strong with academics, ensuring that our organizations transition well, and yeah, just preparing for post-grad life. And on top of that, like all of these other unique personal things that go on in our lives that present their own challenges. So I think like I just want to comment for sure everybody here and of course everybody that's been working with us in our organizations with trying to balance the work and the work at home setting. So yeah.
Okay, so Miss Christine?
Same as everyone here naman din. I'm really excited to go into the next phase of my life. But I definitely, I'm still in the process of actually coming to terms with leaving my org and leaving the life that I'm in Ateneo. I know all of us here didn't expect to finish in the online setting. So it's definitely like a sad part on my end and everyone else here also. But I'm just looking forward also to the people that will be staying, and I put my trust in them to lead the organizations we will be leaving behind.
Oh, don't say it naman. Yeah, like nakakalungkot when you say that it's leaving it behind. But in reality, you guys are always going to be legends in the org. I'm pretty sure that years will pass and we'll still remember you guys.
For me, overall, doing great naman, but same as the others, it's really a bittersweet feeling. Knowing that we have a few weeks left in Ateneo, knowing that I have a few weeks left with CADS. So I guess similar to Jordan, just a matter of figuring out like how I can apply like everything I've learned like as a leader to my life after college and also managing the transition like continuity well. So yeah.
For me, I would say excited kasi as you guys mentioned, we're graduating students. So after few weeks from now, we'll find ourselves in different companies or institutions. So I'm excited for the next chapter of my life, and I'm also excited for the next officers of my organization. So, yun talaga yung na-feel ko upon reading their platforms na despite the fact na online pa rin next school year, marami pa rin silang plans. So, uh, I wouldn't say na nanghihinayang akong umalis kasi alam ko na meron namang people na may iwan, and I am confident na they'll do a better job for next school year.
Wow. Now, I love how, honestly, the common denominator of all of the answers is your love for your members. How you guys look forward to a future. Like, as I said again, we have Julia Quizon, Nicole Chua, JT Valiente, Jordan Jacinto, Kristinne Limos, Tisha Agbayani, and Jubert Calamba. Season 2! Hey! but, but of course, I love how you guys, syempre, still don't forget your members. I'm glad that you really put your heart into your orgs and its members, and of course look forward to the future with your orgs. That's really heartwarming. And that, speaking of the members that you guys trust so much to lead your org with, I just want to ask, like, how did you guys, decide to join your org pala in the first place? Like, what was the let's reminisce naman. What influenced your decision to join the org you're in? Like, did you come into the org with the intent to pursue the possession? Or was it like na, uy, sige, mag-petics-petics lang ako dito. Maghahanap ako ng cute. Tapos eventually, leader na ako. It happens, it happens. So?
Okay, I can go first. So, well, I joined ACOM because it's our home organization. So, of course, I joined it because I would want to learn more about the 4 tracks of com, or how to just become a better communicator. And I came into ACOM and applied agad for an officer position, like some Vivo freshie that I am. So, ayun, naging block rep agad ako. And then the next year, I told myself, okay, I want to be events associate. So I did. And then after that, as everyone says, you're just going to be like, okay, there are other things out there for me. I'm going to leave and try other things. But no, you end up coming back. So I became events VP and eventually president. I don't know how that happened. Also because share ko lang then when I entered college, I really told myself, okay, I'm really not going to strive to become president, like all the way to the top. But then I guess, the universe has its ways. And now here I am, and I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. So yeah.
For me naman, coming from high school, I was really interested in performing. Kaya when I saw yung brochure ng COA and nung may performances ng ORSM, I was really interested in trying out a theater org. And actually, dahil tatlong theater orgs at Ateneo, iba sana yung goal kong pasukan. But then as I was crossing over to their booth, may parang sumigaw sa akin from our organization na parang, are you here to sign up? And nahiya ako as a freshie. So I was like, oh, sure, I am. So I ended up signing up for TA instead of redacted. And eventually naman, I stayed. I had like the worst audition ever. They still got me kasi walang tao. So I stayed and I went on to join every single production since then. As in, I never took a break because I just liked it so much. I think one day, actually, I've never told anyone, but coming after fresh year, after a show, that was really good. I wrote myself a letter na, oh, maybe one day I want to be president. I don't know, just maybe. And then when I got elected last year, it was the only time I opened it again. And then looking back, I really didn't know anything. I just wanted to be there and helping out the organization. So yeah.
Great. Grabe. I love the flow so far though. We have like Eyes on the Prize, Julia Quezon. Okay, so from the start, okay, mag-officer ako. So biglang from Miss Nicole Chua. Okay po, sige po ate. I'll join your org po. It's really cute. Our lives, transcend. And you, JT, how about you?
My journey to AO is actually very interesting. So I'm not an econ major anymore. I shifted out after my second year. So I'm a development studies major. But then in my second year, I came back from a leave of absence. And when I came back after one sem, all of my friends, my blockmates at the time, were already having class schedules different from mine. So I ended up staying in the org room most of the time. And that's where I started talking to the upperclassmen who were um, already org officers, and they welcomed me with open arms. And they really showed me the kind of culture that A has built, which is this culture of family. And so when I felt like I was, in that culture, in that group, and they decided to mentor me because I mean they probably saw potential, I really gave it my all. And within a semester, I was able to get, all the active points I needed. And then the person who was running for president at the time asked me if I could come along and run with him. So I did, and then I ended up winning. And then 3 years later, here I am as president. When I look back at my time applying or filing my COC for this position, I think like everybody here, probably we could all say that it was really like a call of duty in the sense that nobody wanted to touch this position because everybody knew or had a feeling that the pandemic was going to last, a long period of time. And we were all walking into these uncharted waters. But I think that's something also that I want to commend everybody here and everybody else in COAM, core who's been elected as president for really heeding that call and taking on the challenge to to lead at such a challenging time. So.
Right. So for me naman, why I joined Ateneo Code is because I wanted to involve myself in a sector-based cluster org. And the advocacy of youth empowerment through organization development really resonated with me. But interestingly enough, I was rejected from Code in my freshman year, and I got in during my sophomore year. Then the journey got even bumpier. So like I jumped from one department to the next. I went on JTA, so half a year, half an entire school year, I wasn't even involved in the org. But luckily enough, yeah, just going with emotions, keeping grounded with why we do things for our sector, for the youth, for fellow youth organizations, and of course, immersing myself in the stories of these people I get to work with. Yeah, I fortunately got the opportunity, similarly to what JT had shared. Yeah, it's not to say that just because we got these positions that we're the most confident or that we're the most capable. There's a lot of anxiety to it, but having that faith that we get it done, not just because of our own, not just on our own accord, but because we trust in the people that we're working with as well, throughout our organizations, throughout the Ateneo community. So yeah, just lucky that my inclination towards advocacy was grounded throughout my experience so far up till the present.
Okay, so for me naman, kind of the same reason as Julia na Ateneo Psyche is my home organization because I'm a psych major. And everyone that I currently knew, which was just like my blockmates and even my psych moms, they were psych majors. So I was really inclined to go there because I guess aside from being able to be with my friends, I knew there were opportunities to further interact with other psych majors and be able to possibly apply what I learned pa in psych to psyche. um, Definitely, I did not envision even taking on a position at all. I was just tapped to apply for deputy in my first year pa lang, and I was accepted in Community Development Department. And that's really where my advocacy for mental health grew, and it gave me a reason to continue staying. Like, it gave me more reasons to stay in the org, and it just so happened it led to presidency. So ayun, I do not regret my journey here, and I'm so glad that I was able to work with the people that I have worked with until now. Ayun.
For me naman, I have been dancing actually since I was 5. And since I was high school, it's really been my dream talaga to compete for CADS, dance for CADS. So when I signed up, it was really just for dance. And being a performer, like I faced so much burnout like every year. Like same as Julia na parang do I quit na ba? LOA na ba from this org? Things like that. But then I think that it's how I was continuously inspired by other members and continuously like falling in love with our advocacy of dance production excellence that really pushed me to continuously like invest in the org and eventually work my way up to this presidency. So yeah, although I didn't expect it, I am really, really grateful that I ended up here.
Okay. So, on my part naman, parang I joined Ateneo Gabay at first, thinking na it was required for scholars to join Gabay. Kasi at that time, the image of Gabay was still the home org for Ateneo scholars. So that was the primary reason for me joining the organization. Pero of course, after some time, I discovered naman na it was a misconception. I discovered na even though we're not the home org for scholars, we serve the scholars in the Ateneo and public elementary school students. And similar to JT siguro, yung primary factor na nag-lead sa akin in taking up leadership positions is yung pagtambay sa org room. Kasi in Gabay, pagtambay ka sa org, kung sino yung pinakatambay sa org room, minsan sila yung pinaka ni-encourage tumakbo. Since wala naman ako ibang tambayan kundi yung MVP 215. So parang isa na ako sa mga how do I term it? Napipisil na president ever since second year. And then ayun, I wouldn't say na dream ko siya, pero at some point na-realize ko na parang doon na rin naman siya papunta. So kunin na lang natin yung opportunity.
Ayan guys, so you heard it loud and clear. If gusto niyo maging president, tambay tayo sa org room. But in our case, sa Discord server na lang muna kasi wala tayong org room. So, that's really cool. And I really like how you guys have such diverse answers, from being, really dead set from the very start to pursue it, from others being like roped into it eventually, and from others na natap lang sa kakatambay sa org room. It's really crazy. And, with that, I just want to ask, because, I feel like for everybody here, it's such a big deal to be nominated for the Leader of the Year award. I mean, hello, from the sobrang daming orgs sa Ateneo, you guys are the chosen few. It's a very big thing. So, would you mind sharing with us how you felt after knowing that you got nominated for this award? Like, what does it mean for you but personally to be nominated for Leader of the Year? Like, tumibok ba puso nyo? Did you guys freak out? Or was it like, nah, saw it coming, sa tulog lang kayo ulit? How was it?
Oh, for me, I was really shocked, but of course, really honored. But of course, I wouldn't be here, and I don't think any of us would be here naman din without our members. So I kind of wanted to share it with them in a way, but I can't just take it because for myself, it's really for them, like the way that I lead, how I adjust my leadership style. Siguro na flatter din ako in a way since na-recognize din yung efforts ng pagiging president, because it's not easy leading a whole organization and just seeing the ins and the outs of leadership. So like thank you. Really, really happy.
For me naman, my family, I did not expect to come from the top 10. It was something that I really didn't expect. We were actually having our officers meeting in Gather Town. So we were just like having fun and all of that, and we watched the stream. We were really surprised to be nominated for things, and ako rin, like nung tinawag ako, hindi ko nga narinig dahil yung officers ko sumisigaw. Parang ako, ano nangyayari? But same din with Julia, that being nominated for me is really parang a tribute to the members, kasi I would have never been like inspired to work as a leader if like wala yung energy na dinadala ng members, lalo na yung newest members who took the leap to join our organization even though it's online and they didn't know what to expect. So I really feel like the award is to be shared by everyone because in their way, they all were innovators in their own teams and in their own right.
I have to echo what Julia and Nicole said. It was truly a surprise, but it didn't feel totally deserving because, yeah, you can't take all the credit for the work that your members put in, the amount of hours that, your members put in. I feel like sometimes leadership is a little bit overrated because like our role as presidents or coordinators is to coordinate, it's to organize, it's to make sure that everybody does what they want to do in an orderly fashion. That's it. So um, to be celebrated, to be recognized, it doesn't feel real sometimes. But like what they said, I am very honored and I feel very blessed to be recognized in this manner. But I do want to give all the credit to my members who really put in all the effort this year to make such a huge, amount of change that we were able to create, and despite the circumstances.
Yeah, and just to build on real quick on what JT shared, I guess like for as a leader, there's that unconscious correlation or at like having the efforts of one's organization being attributed just because you're the representative. Not to say that's a bad thing, but yeah, there shouldn't be that misconception that we do everything. If anything, like right now this year, for me, I can't speak on behalf of the other leaders here, but for me, I feel like I did more in my prior years as a member of my organization because now I have to put on that supervisor, that facilitator hat. So yeah, but on that note, I wouldn't say that it's the easiest job. And I say this because more on for our successors or whoever the future leaders of Ateneo will be. Hopefully, you guys have that courage to see the relevance of the role and that yeah, anybody can fill in that role as long as you understand not only what it takes to be a leader, but what that constitutes in the context of your respective organizations. So yeah, sorry, but to answer the question, I was also surprised with being nominated for the role. So yeah, that's it for me.
For me, I echo the same sentiments as everyone here. Na parang like I was surprised and I felt like it's an award that wasn't merited just by my success alone. I was nominated because of the success of my org and that it was recognized because of their efforts, what they were able to do this year. And like I wasn't even aware na I was nominated for org leader actually. Like I was just tagged and I thought it was Ateneo Psyche being nominated for other stuff. Well, I saw that naman, but then biglang, oh, let's go, Kristinne. And I was like, oh, okay. Pero ayun, I just know that I wouldn't be here without my org being what it is this year. And it really makes all the efforts and all the ups and downs worth it talaga. Being recognized. Yeah, that's it.
Super same as everyone. It was really a big shock, but then also a huge honor to be nominated, especially being able to represent like all the hard work of my members and even most especially when this past year gave us every reason not to, especially as a performing arts org and an events based org. And personally, it also makes me feel very hopeful and inspired for our community of student orgs, like to see how if our members can pull off a year built from ground up, what more can we achieve in the years to come.
Ayun, ang daya, nasa huli ako. So, i-echo ko na lang yung sinabi ninyo. And first reaction ko rin nung nalaman ko nominated ako is, bakit ako? And then, parang to resonate lang with what JT and Jordan said, parang yung presidency rin, in the case of Ateneo Gabay kasi, wala kang directly hinahandle the project, more on hinahandle mo yung people handling the projects. So parang looking back, ang naging role ko lang naman throughout the school years to be there for the executive board, to be there na pwede silang magtanong or if they need advice. And for me kasi parang andun din yung realization na the mere fact na tinapos natin yung school year as leader despite everything that has happened this school year. Parang feel ko hindi siya something na deserve lang ng isa. Feel ko deserve siya ng lahat ng org leaders ng 56 accredited organizations. Kasi the mere fact na na-survive natin siya is parang achievement enough na for all of us.
Thank you so much, class, for answering our discussion board. You all merit +5 points. Congrats, guys. I hope the +5 points for participation were worth it. Thank you so much. And moving on to our next question naman. Okay, so, first, sige, ano naman ako, okay, Jubert, you guys can go first. Yay. Let's go Ateneo Gabay. But I don't know, I just want to ask, actually, I'm curious about this also, but like what projects or initiatives did you take part in the last school year that really allowed you to showcase your leadership and, the skills you have and the things you've learned? This is your chance to flex it. Like, when day ba nagsipag ka lang ng straight sa isang year and then, oh my gosh, ito na, president on the way, So, this is your chance for you to tell us all about the hard work you've put into a project or initiative, which eventually led to your amazing presidencies. So, Jubert, you want to go first?
Okay. For me, hindi, it's not a project per se, pero feel ko isa sa mga key part of my presidency is yung response ng organization namin during the Ulysses, Typhoon Ulysses, nung tumama siya in Metro Manila. And I would say na doon talaga lumabas yung leadership skills ko kasi kahit ako mismo, binaharing kami during that time. And actually, 4 out of 10 of the executive members of the organization actually taga Marikina, so lahat kami binaha. So parang andun yung how do you handle, how do you respond to a calamity kung ikaw mismo victim ng calamity niyo. So ang if I remember correctly, ang ginawa ko na is dinelegate ko na lang yung role. Dinelegate ko siya to our internal vice president, and before ako malobat, I remember sending out instructions to the remaining executive board members kung paano yung gagawin. Okay, ikaw, you will reach out to remaining scholars. Ikaw naman, you will reach out to our students from Industrial Valley Elementary School na along Marikina River din. Ikaw naman, you will reach out to the Office of Admission and Aid. And feel ko yun yung highlight of my leadership experience kasi parang I was able to organize an organizational response under pressure and under a calamity.
Okay, for me, I like to think that keeping the organization together and kind of making it a safe space for creativity and expression despite the distance is something that I like to think as my year-long project. And although CADS really made it a point to empower its members and really in taking the lead of multiple projects as president, like you really take part in every single thing that goes on. And I think that each of these innovations and initiatives, whether they're internal or external, work together in providing a full virtual year-long experience for your members. And it is with like so much admiration talaga that I look back at everything our organization has done to empower one another in their respective crafts, serve our partner community, and to like really reimagine what excellence means in the virtual setting. And despite the countless imperfections that I'm sure everyone else can relate with, that and like the setbacks that we faced along the way, it's really the immense growth that I witnessed in my org, and like how much we've achieved in a single year that I think is the project that I'm most proud of.
For me, one of the most salient initiatives that I had to take on as president was kind of the same setting and time as Jubert. yung during the typhoons when parang nababahanan lahat ng mga members and even my officers, and may nakaschedule na nga na meeting pero we had to move that, so we really had to be more accommodating and such. So what we had to do was mobilize those who were able to do yung mga constituency checks na not just online kasi wala ngang internet kasi nabaha nga, diba? So we had to do it through text pa, and delegating people within such a short time frame to check on the many constituents under psyche. It was very stressful kasi minsan when we would tap people, they can't do it na talaga. So, nasasalo ng mga officers or ayun. I guess another time was also shortly after that, the time ng petition, like yung socio-political involvement ng psyche. I really had to try to hear out members by holding mga live discussions for the petition, like not just holding it with the central board officers, but also with the members, because I really knew how important it was to hear them out, to actually get a parang cohesive stand on what we would want for that. So, ayun, parang we had to scramble and look for volunteers within around 3 days lang. And it was stressful, but it was worth it. Ayun.
Right. So for me, I'd say the effort that I'm most proud of would be this initiative I came up with at the start of the school year. So it's called the Complete Individual Coder Consultation. So given that everybody didn't know where to start, I myself had an IC with each member of my organization for an hour during the intersession period. So that was for around 120 members. And that was really part of my platform. But even then, like, people were like second guessing already right then and there. Like, that's impossible. Like, you wouldn't be able to do that. And I didn't do that out of spite. I did it with grounding myself on the notion that you have to start with your members. You have to understand where they're all coming from. I think that was a challenge for a lot of leaders. Like, do we move forward? And whoever can't keep up, bahala na lang sila. Or do we wait, but then the organization can't progress? So I didn't want to put that burden on my fellow executive board members either. And beyond just hearing about the stories of my members, I tried to make it more purposeful with garnering data. We were able to reschedule even our efforts to optimize involvement. I think my HR head also brought up na our member involvement increased from 25 or 20% to around 30%. So that was also surprising given that this is our first time working online. So yeah, I'd say I'm most proud of that because it's really humbling, because that effort isn't as complex as it sounds. It's just having calls with people. And if anything, what gave value to it was luckily my members having that willingness, that openness to just talk with me, and to share what they're going through and be able to realign themselves. And from there, I was able to reassure them lang na, if you're ready, go for it. Here are some opportunities. If you're not, take your time and just let us know. So from there, we were able to reach our targets with the number of engagements we had. We were able to push through with a lot of initiatives. And again, all credits, most especially in terms of execution, goes back to my members. So I just say I'm most proud of that because I ultimately gave the opportunity for my members to voice out their opinions, voice out their sentiments, and just to realign and reconnect with code.
For me naman, the initiative that I'm most proud of this year was really solidifying AS identity as an organization within the field of economics, but then advocating for the subfield of development economics. So many of AS members go on to government offices like the Department of Finance, NEDA, all branches of government basically. And so when we were assessing over the last year how exactly our government has been performing, we really felt like there was a huge, gap between what the government was doing and what the people really needed. And so we took it upon ourselves as an organization that breeds leaders, to go into these institutions of power to reassess as well where they stand in terms of their role in society. And so shifting towards development economics really made us look at all of our projects and attempt to break the notion of economics as being purely growth centered, purely profit generating, and shifting the discussion and looking at how can we help more communities? How can we play a role in alleviating poverty? How can we go beyond just business and into the sectors? So this year with Valentine's in August, we shifted it to via cares. And so instead of selling flowers just to make the org money, we decided to sell care packages to help, small businesses during the time of the pandemic, to help people within the Ateneo community by giving each other these, uh, by tapping into the love language of gifts, and sharing that with other people, as well as also talking about our advocacy with our partner community, para kay Manong, which is a mini organization of jeepney drivers who were affected by the pandemic at the start of ECQ way back in March. And we also developed the Development Economics Conference of Ateneo, and we also ended the year with the A Advocacy Week, which is where we invited NGOs to come to Ateneo, well, at least the virtual space of Ateneo, and discuss what they were working on this year, just to respond to the pandemic. And so shifting to development economics really set the mark. And I think the future of where AO is going to stand in terms of it being a student organization, but also as a place that encourages the next generation of leaders, especially in government, to look beyond themselves and really serve the people.
For us naman, siguro I'll start with something that is internal. So same with Christine, this year required a lot of transparency and parang collaboration within the org community dahil nga online tayo and it's impossible to just gather everyone in one Zoom call to talk and all of that. So this year we tried to extend our platform to our members. So since TA has always been vocal naman about social political events, we wanted to extend the power to write that or to have an opinion to our members. So medyo mahirap siya because like sometimes you have to listen to so many voices and sometimes it's hard to reconcile things when they're different. Pero as an org that provokes discourse, kailangan it starts from within pa lang. And then siguro another one that I really like that was started by one of our EB then was to sponsor a kid program for Oedipus Rex in particular. Kasi kasi in theater orgs, it's hard to earn money. So madalas we're really focused on at least getting our money back so we can perform more and we can reach more audiences. But then what happens is yung accessibility of our productions, it becomes difficult. Usually Ateneo community lang nakanood or people who can afford to do so. And productions aren't cheap. 350 to 400 for one show for one night isn't necessarily accessible, lalo na to high school kids or to those who are in public schools. But then since sila dapat yung target sector namin and we want those messages to reach them, for Sponsor a Kid program, we opened it to the public na if they wanted to donate and a portion of our proceeds then would go to them so they could watch themselves. So I think we were able to provide around, I think 200-ish tickets to youth who were not privileged enough to afford these shows. And since there's a tendency for art to be gate-kept or for art to be elitist, it was important for us to bridge that gap so we don't just cater to an audience who can afford it, to an audience who is privileged enough to buy these tickets, but also to extend it beyond to other sectors as well.
Okay, hello. For me naman, I guess for presidents, then it's kind of everyday life, no? Kasi as what everyone said a while ago, we're just the ones who really coordinate to make sure that everything is free flowing, everything is smooth. And I think this year I was able to make ACOM 18 a safe space for constructive criticism and failure, but also excellence in collaboration. So it's, I think for everyone here, it's kind of like the limbo year where nothing feels real or whatnot. And I guess right now I'm just making sure on my own terms I'm setting new systems in place for everyone to be more comfortable next year. So I guess one initiative is yung on-site manual. Kasi nung nag-pleb sem kami, a lot of the underclassmen were like, oh, we're kind of worried when we get back on site. How will all these events work? How does the org room look like? So that's something we're kind of putting together right now, just so that once we're back on site, at least they have a feel of what happened right before the pandemic.
Okay, wow. So moving on to the next question. And again, Jubert will start with this one. But yeah, I just want to ask, after taking this leadership position this year, like what are your plans for next year? I mean, I've heard that majority of you guys here are seniors. So what are your plans moving forward? Jubert?
For me initially, I wanted to join the government, pero I'm not sure pa kung anong magiging career path natin after college, especially medyo tight ang job market as of the moment. Pero ayun, and of course, kagaya ng sinabi ni Julia kanina na very important yung parang yung transition ng on-site culture, yung on-site habits ng mga org sa next set of officers. So parang feel ko kahit graduate or kahit wala na tayo sa Ateneo, magiging open pa rin ako for consultations for the next set of officers, especially if magkaroon na ng plans to go back to the campus.
For me, even after my presidency, I guess I still hope to be able to cultivate creative spaces for people to pursue excellence, like the same way CADS has for me all of these years, and kind of embody this advocacy of leaders inspiring leaders in the line of work I choose to pursue. And actually, my EB and I, we have this like 10-year dream or plan to make CADS like its own production house that can secure professions for CADSers even when they graduate. So yeah, that's something in my 10-year plan.
For me, since I'm graduating na this year, I will be going into the medical field na. So of course I'll still be there if they have questions. Especially, I don't think we're gonna be going back to the on-site setting anytime soon kasi. So I feel like I'll still be able to help the next term in their when they're starting sa online, or even if it's on-site. Like as Julia said, we're preparing some guides like project management procedures for people to refer to how it was like in on-site. Like if it was on-site, ito yung gagawin ninyo. But definitely, I feel like I will still be able to apply what I learned in my term, like in terms of managing people and having to communicate with people. Because discourse is an everyday kind of thing. You're always going to encounter people who have different contexts as you, and it's really important to take that into consideration when you're communicating with them. So ayun.
So yeah, for me, kind of similar to what Kristinne and Julia shared of establishing systems. So this year, tried to institutionalize project primers for each effort and have coordinate with my executive board members or the department heads for codes of internal procedures. So in a year's time, I hope that I could still offer my insights, help them out with transitioning back or just maintaining the online progress that we're experiencing now. And I guess more on a personal note, I just hope to grow in more ways than one, still thrive or still strive to continue to learn. I think like just a small segue, I guess, to lighten it up a bit. For me, personally, I just want to help my parents to retire as soon as possible because they're going to be senior citizens in a year or two. So I think that's like my short-term goal that helps me keep grounded. I guess it's like another tip for aspiring leaders that there are a lot of externalities that come to like being a leader, but don't forget to ground yourself into your own personal why. That doesn't need to be selfish, but of course, you don't have to limit yourself just to people saying, "Oh, I think that you're gonna be a leader or you should be a leader," but really rooting yourself back to what your organization stands for, how you see yourself, positioning yourself in light of all of that, and of course, trying your best to actualize it. So, yeah.
All the same, we're also establishing playbooks for next year as well as for when the organization arrives back in the Ateneo campus. But on a more personal level as well, I'm looking to apply for masters abroad. So that's my next short-term step. But my career goal hopefully is to be in politics here because I really want to serve the people and hopefully bring in a new kind of generation of leaders who are dedicated to service for the people. So yeah, that's it for me.
I find it really nice that everyone's like making primers and stuff for when we go back on site. It's just like showing how parang foresight and stuff like that. And same din naman with us. And I guess for me, one thing then na I want to do even after I graduate is to be yung parang stage mom. Like I'll just be there to support them. I know there's a lot of resources sometimes that are not as accessible to students. And I hope na pag may job na ako and all of that, I can give back in whatever way I can, offering some services, kanyari na pro bono, and that's something that our alumni do din minsan, or giving workshops as well, just so that these people have a taste then, kanyari, what happened nung pandemic year, how did you adapt online, how can you adapt in whatever situation you're put to action in. And apart from that then siguro, personally, I still want to go into the production or film or anything arts that tells a story kasi I feel like that's so important in our current context kasi arts is often deemed non-essential but it really isn't. We all know na ngayong pandemic, all of us have been consuming a lot of the arts and it's the thing that keeps us sane, diba? So that's something that I want to continue. And also, one really good thing that was told to me by one of our alumni was that even if you're not currently acting in a production or working on a production, you're still a theater practitioner. Because being a theater practitioner doesn't mean that you're just there to perform on stage all the time, but it means being able to embody the values of provoking discourse and critical thinking and being able to share that story with a wider range of people.
Okay, last for me. I think same naman din with everyone. I kind of want to be available then for consultation or just support whenever I can. Because ACOM has given me so much and of course I want to give even after I've left. And short-term goal pagkatapos ng June, magpapahinga ako. Please. Yun lang naman yun. I just want to rest, get into a new hobby if I can, read some books. But after that, I'm honestly, really excited to be mentored again and learn again from people who are better than me, who are smarter than me. Because for so long, then I've been gunning for like leadership positions, but now I'm really psyching myself up to learn more about the communication industry, the advertising industry, production, and I'm really excited about that. And I guess once I do graduate and get another line of work, I'll continue to lead pa rin by just being proactive in the solutions that I give by taking initiative, even though I'll be a super small fish in a big ocean, whatever that saying is. But yeah.
Okay. And with that, wow, this is a lot. That's really a lot to take in. And thank you so much for sharing with us your journey as leaders. Now, before we end, let's have a quick one-word Q&A. This is very exciting. But the rule is, guys, everybody has to unmute. Bawal mag-mute para super dire-diretso or no time to think. Hindi pwedeng pakain. Come on, let's unmute yourselves. Okay. So we'll give you a question. You'll have to answer one word in less than 5 seconds. So the order is Miss Julia naman first.
Hi.
Okay.
Okay. Sige, go.
Okay, then. Okay. Gigi. All right. So for the first question. Favorite project you've participated in the past year?
ACOM Fest soon.
Miss Nicole?
Bahay Tanghalan TA Fest.
Definitely via Caris for me.
Code engagements for me.
GA for me.
Physicads for me.
GA then for me.
Okay. So yeah, for the second question, describe what leadership means to you in one word.
Intentional.
Empathy.
Empowerment.
Systems thinking.
Vision.
Empathy also.
Trust.
Okay. Now, next question. How do you feel about the upcoming COA Awards?
Excited.
Excited also.
I'm
Definitely
dying.
excited, but a little nervous too.
Yeah, ecstatic.
Sorry.
Nervous.
Excited also, or ecstatic, or what are the other synonyms?
Yes. Jubert?
Excited.
Okay. Now, for the next question. Okay, and last actually. In one sentence, what's the most valuable lesson you've learned in your leadership journey? And can you also leave, say, 2 sentences na lang? Kasi baka naman masyado kayo pahirapan.
Run off, girl.
2
Oh my
sentences.
goodness.
2 sentences. Sige, basta, kahit ilang sentences, basta make it short, sweet, and concise.
Ah,
What's the
showboard na
most
talaga.
value? Fast talk talaga. What's the most valuable lesson you've learned in your leadership journey? And, if you can have like one message for everybody you're leaving behind. Wow, leaving behind. Ang sakit. Or if you have one message, what would it be?
Does it start from me again?
Yes, Miss Julia.
Jubert,
andito
baka
siya.
naman.
Sige, pwede ako. Sige, ako na mauna.
Sige, go.
Ayan. Most valuable lesson siguro would be sometime, kasi there's a misconception that if you're a leader, parang sa'yo lahat manggagaling yung decisions, sa'yo lahat manggagaling ideas. But I figured out na your job as a leader is not to come up with the best idea, but to let others do that and pick the best idea presented to you. And my message for the next set of officers or for the Ateneo Gabay in general would be yung situation natin right now is still not ideal to be active in organization, but I hope you do continue, not just for yourself, but for the sectors and future Gabayanos.
For me, I think it's really the power of collaboration. Like I've met and worked with so many kinds of people over the past few years within and outside of CADS, and it's been really inspiring to see like this whole time, especially how much exceptional work and innovation we can put out for the communities that we serve when we learn from and empower one another. And I guess super short advice for org leaders in the current setup or upcoming org leaders is to always find ways to invest in your members. Success is often only defined by external factors like recognition, monetary gain, things like that, when it really lies in the happiness and well-being of your members. So yeah, a leader's only as good as the people they serve. That's something I always repeated to myself. Yeah.
I echo the same sentiments also naman, but like with the current setting, as what Jubert did say, it's really not ideal. But honestly, it's so worth it taking the risk, because even if you don't see it in the moment, it really, everything sets in place. Like everything that is meant to be comes into place talaga. Even if you think you're doing a bad job or you make mistakes, it all pans out in the end. So you just gotta take courage and take that leap of faith to lead, because it's worth it for both your development as well as the development of the advocacy of what your organization stands for.
So for me, as it's that you can't make the optimal impact that you envision for your organization if you think that you can do it alone. Ultimately, so the advice that I give is you really need to invest into shared experiences, because you have to understand that growth is maximized when it is interrelated with others. So you'd be able to create that growth, you'd be able to create that impact with, through, and for others. If you're able to understand that this needs to be done through shared experiences. So yeah.
For me naman, it's really staying true to your whys. I think the number one issue that a lot of, or actually people in general in the academe faced this year was burnout. There was a huge strain on our mental health this year because of so much that was taken away from us. And so holding on to your whys can really power you through in any kind of work that you have set out for yourself, any kind of goal for yourself. And holding on to those can get you a long way. So aside from everything else that everybody else mentioned, because they're also right, it's really sticking to your whys for me. And if there was any advice I would leave my incoming officers, it's that listen to each other and walk alongside each other. Um, like what Tisha said, it's all about collaboration. And when you work together to build something, you can build something great. So that's it for me.
For me naman, sa TA, may kasabihan kami. Sasabi namin madalas bago mag-show, tiwala. But tiwala isn't passive. Hindi ibig sabihin nun, iiwan mo lahat kay Lord or kung whatever existential being there. Tiwala means being able to trust the people you're working with. So kahit nasa harap ka man ng stage, kinakabahan ka, alam mo there are people there to support you. So just trust them and act accordingly. And everything will turn out okay in the end kahit na magkamali ka. Kasi salo-salo lang lahat ng tao. And then for everyone else naman, siguro one thing I learned this year is that leadership is an exercise of empathy. There are many times na parang feeling mo like may iwanan ka or sa'yo na iwan lahat ng work. But then you have to understand kasi we're in very different circumstances right now. And you know, people are really trying their best. Lahat ng nagtatrabaho, the mere fact they sign their name into your org means they're trying their best. So sa lahat ng TA dyan, thank you for taking the risk. Napakahirap ng taon na to, hindi natin alam paano gagawin. Pero nagawa with all of your help. So thank you.
Okay, last, I guess one short message would be leading is a constant learning and understanding. And I'll just keep it like that. But I guess for the future leaders who are watching this, for anyone who's watching this, always strive to leave your organization and your position with people who are better than you. So to do that, you really have to invest in people, and passion and performance will follow. So it's really the members who keep us going. And I guess thank you then to everyone in ACOM for just keeping me going as well, and for just doing your best this year despite all the circumstances. Really proud of you and really appreciate the effort. Salamat, Miss Elery!
Okay,
Love
thank you. Thank you, Miss Ma'am. And that, guys, is it for today's episode. Once again, thank you so much to everybody. Make sure to check out COAM Awards on Facebook and participate in the People's Choice Awards, which closes today. So be sure to send in your nominations and watch the awards on May 15th. Exciting. And with that, to end things, it's your local Gulay Girly from 1AB Communication. It's your girl, Celery without the C, and this has been Kwentuhang MVP. Hey, have a wonderful afternoon.